Folks, the new 1-2 assault rifle from the Python Commando Warbond has essentially a game-breaking glitch. What this glitch allows you to do is reload a support weapon that would typically require a stationary reload with a backpack to be reloaded without the backpack being equipped and without being stationary. It also lets you have essentially like an overflowed mag. So I was using the spear gun in this video, and throughout almost the entire video, I have 2 rounds in the spear the entire time, which is just insane. Now, if you want to do this glitch, what you need to do is go into the settings, and there's an option that allows you to change firing modes on your primary weapon. So I had that set to an additional button on my mouse, and what I would do is you have to fire. You want to hit reload, but you don't actually want to let that reload finish. What you want to do instead is you want to mid-reload swap firing modes to go back to your assault rifle shots, and then quickly swap to another weapon. So in this case, again, I was using the spear, so I would essentially shoot off the grenade, hit reload, swap firing mode, go to the spear, and the spear would be reloaded. Now, the only thing that is kind of annoying about this glitch is your 1-2 will very literally never have ammo. You don't want to ever actually reload the grenade because you need to have another grenade available to reload the gun in order to do this glitch, and then the primary ammo, for whatever reason on the assault rifle mode, just disappears. I don't know why, it just does. So you really kind of can't use your 1-2 at all. You just have to pull out your spear, which is what I was using, and just go to town with that. But again, you have no primary. So a lot of what I did here, especially versus the Terminids, is I had focused a lot on trying to clear out swarms. I used the Talon. The Talon is actually really good. It's a secondary weapon. It has essentially infinite ammo, but you do have to be careful about that. If you shoot too quickly, then it will overheat and you have to reload it. But if you're giving it enough spacing in between your shots to allow it to cool down, you can essentially just fire it the entire game and never have to reload it. I used the laser drone. I think I already mentioned that. But essentially it was just more swarm clearing options that didn't run out of ammo. That thing was really helpful. It did kind of lead to, I think it did lead to a team kill at some point, or maybe it killed me. But it was a lot more consistent than when I was trying to use the arc drone for a bit. That was really getting a lot of team kills. I decided not to use that one. The gas drone, as another example, the gas drone really just did not do us wonders. The damage on that thing was too low. But with our spear being able to one-shot, anything it would lock onto. It actually locks onto Alpha Commanders, which I thought was really weird. But that actually was kind of helpful. I could just one-shot Alpha Commanders from a distance if I was in a situation where there just wasn't really any heavies. And again, because it's so easy and so quick to reload our spear. Oh, you wasted a spear gun, you wasted a spear shot on an Alpha Commander, but it's I have infinite rounds, so who cares? So that was, in terms of armor, and in terms of grenades, there was nothing really specific that I felt like we needed to do here. I brought the Archer grenades and an armor that had additional grenades. So I had 6 Archer grenades. It was really just more so that I could have more options to clear out swarms because, again, I was kind of worried about that going into this because our support weapon would essentially drain. We had no primary weapon, and our support weapon was entirely focused on killing heavy. Because of that, I was like, okay, we have no real swarm options, and I wasn't really sure how great the Talon would do versus the bugs, just because there's so many of them. So between the laser drone, the Talon, and all the arc grenades, we had pretty decent options pretty consistently. I also broke the machine gun sentry because the cooldown on that thing is super, super low. It's a minute, I think it is. So as long as you were kind of somewhat nearby the machine gun sentry, you had a lot of swarm killing potential that way. And then I also had the Eagle cluster bomb. And that was just another way to, oh, if there's a bug breach, or if there's just a large swarm of enemies that I just can't break through that quickly, I can just kind of throw that in that direction and we should get a lot of damage, and that should be our way to kind of help us clear out a lot of swarms that way. But yeah, this bug was really, essentially just game breaking. It was really ridiculous. Being able to have that many spear shots that frequently is just completely overpowered. There was no stationary reload, there's no looking for more ammo, it's just wherever I am, whenever I want, I can just shoot out spears. Now, one of the things that, at first I was actually oh, wait, I didn't bring anything to clear bug hole. I didn't realize this until, 90% of the way through this mission, I think it is. I was like, oh, the spear can lock on to bug holes. I didn't realize that for whatever reason, which is kind of hilarious. I went through the entire mission making my teammates clear out bug holes when I had a infinite ammo weapon that can just lock onto them from like 300 plus meters away and just wipe them out. So great job me. I'm terrible at the game. But overall, this build was insane. I'm hoping that the glitch is not patched when this video is out, just so that if you guys do want to mess around with this a little bit, you'll have the time to do so. Honestly, this is something that I hope that they patch this at some point in time, just because this is pretty ridiculous. Like, this should probably not be how the game is played in the long term. Again, I don't think this is something that should just not stay in the game. But it is kind of fun to mess around with, at least for now. If this glitch is still working, will I get this video out? Again, go ahead and mess around with it. Be aware though, like, hey, your teammates, be mindful of your teammates. Like, hey, maybe they're not necessarily the coolest, but maybe they're not cool with you using glitches and whatnot. So, you know, be aware that, I don't know, maybe someone might kick you for thinking you're hacking, because it genuinely does look like you're hacking. This is a ridiculous glitch. Yeah, mess around with it if you want, but just, you know, be aware, be mindful of the community. They may not necessarily be as gung-ho happy as you are messing around with infinite ammo heavy weapons and kind of trivializing heavier difficulties. So, you know, be mindful of the community, don't be a jerk, but like, hey, if you want to try it out, have some fun. It's in the game, so, you know, mess around with it for a little bit, but I would not expect this to be in the game for long. I would be very shocked if Arrowhead does not patch this at some point in time in the near future. How long that will be, I have no idea. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Try this glitch out, though, if you really want. Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's pretty much all I have for this one, though. I will catch you guys in the next video.